Lionel Messi isn't who you think he is. Addictions, jail time, a disease that almost killed him? Here's 10 things you didn't know about Lionel Messi. And first, how he spent $40 million just to conquer his biggest fear. Messi's known for spending ridiculous money on exotic cars. Audis, Maseratis, Paganis, even a 1957 Ferrari Spider. But Messi didn't spend hella bread because he liked how the cars looked. He bought them because of a fear he's had since he was a kid. Amaxophobia. A quick Google search claims that Messi's disorder causes him to feel anxious or in fear of his life every time he drives or even rides passenger in a normal car. And it definitely didn't help that both Messi's brother and dad were in devastating car accidents. But Messi's known his fear of cars wasn't something he could just not get over. Since he always has to travel, he researched and found that more expensive car brands always have extra safety features and higher quality parts that won't break or smash during an accident that aren't found in regular cars. So to help conquer his fear, Messi spent more money on whips than pretty much any athlete ever, on a car collection worth over $40 million just to keep himself protected. But what Messi didn't know was, spending millions made him the target of a heist. August 10th, 2021. Messi had just become one of the most famous people on the planet when he shocked the world and signed with PSG. Because he showed up in Paris out of nowhere, he didn't have a permanent place to stay yet. So for now, Messi decided to stay at one of the area's most prestigious hotels, Le Royal Monceau. But even though this place cost him $18,000 a night, little did he know, this place wasn't as safe as he thought. Thousands of fans knew Messi was in the area, so right when he pulled up to the hotel, fans chanted his name and paparazzi took pics. Now the hotel thought they were prepared for anything when they upped their security and hired an entire police force to keep Messi protected. But the entire world knew Messi's exact location, and a group of criminals got a tip about when Messi would be leaving his hotel room. They studied Messi for years and knew he always wore expensive timepieces, APs, Rolexes, Jacob & Co. exclusives, watches that would cost tens of thousands of dollars each. The night Messi left his hotel room, the ski mask maniacs pulled up, climbed up the side of the building from balcony to balcony until they found Messi's room, snatched his jewelry and cash, then dipped. Now of course cameras caught them. But once Messi found out about the robbery, even though he had police unleash an all-out investigation, the suspects were never found. And they got away with items of his worth $40,000. So no wonder why not long after, Messi moved into a gated castle. Because not only did he want to make sure those criminals never get to him again, he also wanted a safe place to do his secret pre-game ritual that got him cloned? Messi's not much different than the rest of us. Something that's helped him deal with the pressure of being a pro is what he started doing as a teenager. Ever since the first time he picked up a controller, Messi's been hooked to video games, and of course one of his favorite games was FIFA. But he didn't just play for no reason though. Playing FIFA taught him new moves and helped him become a greater football player in real life. So once he went pro, he influenced his teammates to hop on the sticks with him. And they admitted Messi's not only a competitive player who hates losing, Messi reportedly spends 3 hours or more on his PlayStation after training. Before games, after games, when he's just chilling with his son, Messi's always playing. But Messi's video game ritual isn't just for helping him relax or teaching him new football skills. It's all been a part of his master plan to get himself cloned. Now, even you can be Lionel Messi. Just hop on PUBG and you can squad up with shooters and play football in the middle of a war. Or you can hop on Call of Duty and you can be blowing up teams with your bicycle kicks or lighting up the competition. Messi cloned himself just so you can see life through his eyes. But the truth is, Messi almost never even made it to this point because of a rare disease that ruined his life. Messi was just an innocent kid who loved football so much, his dream was to get good enough to play for a pro club. And he was by far better than everybody his age, so it wasn't long before teams began making offers. But at the same time Messi was chasing his dream, something began feeling off about him. And one day, he was taken to the hospital. Doctors suspected something unusual about Messi's health because his appearance hadn't changed in years. And after they ran some tests, they diagnosed Messi with an extremely rare disease, He was suffering from a growth hormone deficiency that caused his body to not grow, which is why he was shorter than almost every kid at only 4'4". Messi's brain was affected by this as well, which slowed down his ability to learn. Now, as life-threatening as it all sounded, Messi was told the disease was curable if his family could afford the treatment. Because the injections would cost between $1,000 and $5,000 every month, there was no way Messi could pay for it. So once football clubs heard that this prodigy's career might be over before it started, they all ghosted him and refused to help in any way. Well, all clubs except for Barcelona. They gave Messi one chance to prove his potential at a workout, and when he came in looking like the most talented kid the scouts ever saw, they wouldn't even let him leave their training ground without signing to their club. So in one of the most historic contract signings in sports history, with a pen and a napkin, they whipped up an entire agreement for Messi to play football for them, and in return, they'd pay for all of his treatments. But genetic issues weren't the only thing Messi suffered with. He also had a secret addiction that forced Barcelona to redesign their stadium. Messi couldn't stop eating junk food, and he developed an addiction to soda. This man couldn't go a single day without it. Like one day before a match, even though Messi's manager Pep Guardiola told him players weren't allowed to drink soda on game days, Messi grabbed a soda anyways and drank it right in front of everyone. But Pep wasn't gonna take that type of disrespect. So instead of directly disciplining Messi, he got every single vending machine in the entire Barcelona facility removed, just so Messi could never drink soda while playing football again. But once soda companies figured out how much attention Messi put on their drinks, they hired him to become the face of their brands, show off his football skills during Pepsi commercials, and they even gave him his own signature Pepsi can. So even though everybody wanted Messi to give up his addiction, it made him millions. But endorsement deals ain't even what's making the most money for him. And now that we're getting into the top 5 stories of Messi's life, let's take things to a whole new level. Because recently he created something for another universe that's gonna make him billions. Messi wanted all of his fans to own a piece of his life. So with the hype around crypto and NFTs skyrocketing, Messi started designing something that would set a world record. His own NFT collection that represented his proudest achievements, biggest moments, and named it the Messiverse. Once Messi dropped a trailer on Instagram letting the world know his NFT's launch date, it racked up over 32 million views. But things got even crazier when Messi made another post showing what each of the 3 pieces in his collection looked like. Fans all over the world were beyond hyped. So once the NFTs officially dropped, Messi's collection turned into the most expensive sports NFTs in history. On launch day alone, the project completely sold out, making $3.4 million. And the rarest piece of Messi's collection, a one-of-one version of the golden one, not only sold for $1 million, nowadays it's worth over $9 million. But all of that was only made in one day. Messi keeps dropping other limited edition NFTs, and in his universe, he's projected to make over $1 billion. But something you didn't know about Messi making tons of money is that's what got him jail time. Since the metaverse ain't the only way he's been cashing out, he started Adidas commercials. He teamed up with Kobe Bryant in airplane ads. Messi even sold more jerseys than any other football player. But even though these deals were making him richer off the field than on it, combining that with paying taxes had him making way less money than his family felt he deserved. So that's when things turned illegal. Out of nowhere, Messi was put under an intense investigation because Spanish courts noticed something fishy going on with his income. All along, Messi had his dad, George, in charge of all financial decisions. But for years, George was trying to help Messi save as much money as possible, and he thought he found a loophole. George began putting Messi's money into investments outside of their country for him to avoid paying as much in taxes. And some of the millions were tracked down in Belize and Uruguay, places that are considered tax havens, meaning they collect taxes at a lower rate. Messi's money was being sent here for years. Till 2016, Messi made headlines as he was faced with a 21-month prison sentence for tax fraud. Messi and his dad were forced to show up to court cases where they were being charged with defrauding Spain for over $4.1 million in taxes. Messi claimed he had zero involvement in this scandal and that he didn't even know he had to pay taxes at all. But the judge claimed it defies logic that a man making as much as Messi did, hundreds of millions of dollars, wouldn't pay attention to where his money's going and found both Messi and his dad guilty. So George was sentenced to 15 months in prison, and Messi was sentenced to 21 months. But thankfully, with all the money Messi saved, he hired a lawyer who was able to fight the charges and got them reduced. Instead of prison, Messi was only fined $255,000. His dad was fined $190,000. And in the end, Messi made a final payment to correct all the taxes he owed, $5.3 million. So Messi saved their reputations that time. But it was recently reported that Messi bought something that's ruining planet Earth. Messi constantly has to get from country to country, but he can't always just whip one of his supercars. So he invested $15 million to buy a private jet. And anytime anybody sees this pull up with his iconic number 10, they automatically know it's Messi's. But that was the problem, because not long after he bought it, it became one of the biggest controversies of his life. Messi had a stalker named Zach Lowy, who not only studied every one of Messi's moves, he kept track of all Messi's flights for months, from June 1st until August 31st. Messi took 52 trips all over the globe, but just traveling wasn't the issue. Zach claimed that Messi's plane was destroying the environment and released as much carbon dioxide in 3 months as the average French citizen does in 150 years. So Zach claimed Messi's flights were causing waste to fall into the water, damaging the environment, and destroying the lives of everybody and everything because it polluted the earth with over 1,500 tons of carbon dioxide. But in all honesty, flights are taken off all over the world every hour, so it's not like Messi's purposely trying to cause any tragedies. Nowadays, when you see Messi, he looks happy, fearless, and ready for anything that comes his way. But he's a completely different person than what he used to be. During Messi's beginning at Barcelona, he was terrified of the older and stronger competition. And what didn't help is that he was extremely shy, especially towards his teammates. But one of the guys eventually got Messi out of his shell, the legendary Ronaldinho. At the time, he was Barcelona's star player and in the prime of his career. Ronaldinho's award-winning performances had him taking stadiums from half full to sold out. And not only was he the reason Barcelona finally became a winning team, Ronaldinho was something football had never seen before. But as great as he was becoming, and even though many expected him to become a football GOAT, right when he met Messi, everything changed. Ronaldinho felt like this kid not only had potential to become great, but even better than he ever was. And while most star players would have had an ego and just looked at Messi as this young kid, Ronaldinho committed to helping Messi become one of the greatest ever. And ironically, it was Ronaldinho who helped Messi score his first ever goal. But that was the first of many. What Ronaldinho did for Messi after this became one of the most underrated things a superstar athlete's ever done. Ronaldinho took a step back and scored less goals just to help Messi become a star as fast as possible. Ronaldinho even predicted the future by telling another legendary athlete, Kobe Bryant, that Messi was something special. Kobe talked about it and said, Ronaldinho, who was a good friend, I was talking with him and he told me, Kobe, look, I'm gonna introduce you to the guy who's gonna be the greatest player of all time. I said, you what? You are the best. But he said, no, this kid right here is gonna be the best. And that guy was Lionel Messi, who was only 17. But just to show the world that all eyes deserve to be on Messi, the final piece in Ronaldinho passing the torch was handing over his iconic jersey number of 10 for Messi to wear. He knew this was an honor that he couldn't take for granted, and he scored 641 goals while becoming one of football's greatest players ever, all because of Ronaldinho's sacrifice.